This time we're in Painshill, Cobham, Surrey, visiting an absolutely beautiful landscape garden created in the 18th century by the Honourable Charles Hamilton. He was inspired by landscape artwork and so designed this beautiful garden that we're going to have a walk around today. So come along and join us as we see some of the highlights of this beautiful garden.
In 2021, Painshill Park is celebrating 40 years since the Painshill Trust started its tireless task of bringing these extraordinary landscape gardens back to life from the vision of Charles Hamilton, creator of the gardens between 1738 and 1773. There are 158 acres to explore, so bring some comfortable footwear as we start our tour from the Welcome Centre and along the banks of the Serpentine Lake for views of the Vineyard and the ruined Abbey.
It's a really lovely temperature here today. It's late March and the temperature is 23 degrees, which apparently is the warmest day in England since 1968, and it's just delightful walking around in the sunshine. Our first point of interest on the tour is the Vineyard, seen from a distance over the Serpentine Lake. This 5-acre plot was planted in the 1740s, and its harvests were very successful for 40 years. Replanted in 1992, Painshill Wine now has an award-winning sparkling white wine. No mean feat in the Surrey winters, and from the hungry deer, badgers and ducks that all love a ripe grape. We'll cross over later so you can see the wonderful North Downs view from above the vineyard. The ruined Abbey was the last garden building Hamilton added in 1772, around the time he expanded the lake to create this wonderful shimmer effect. It is thought he may have positioned it here next to the vineyard as a homage to monks that were skilled gardeners and growers of grapes. It was quite the fashion in that period to have a building of this sort, harking back to the past, Roman Catholic churches and alike. The Abbey looks absolutely beautiful, just shimmering off the Serpentine Lake. Really lovely design. They seem to encourage fishermen here. I don't know whether you can book a session or it's a private thing, but dotted around the Serpentine Lake there are little green huts and there are guys in there spending the day fishing. As we continue to walk on the footpath, we reach stunning views across to the Chinese bridge that leads onto Grotto Island. We'll be walking there later. The bridge is not really Chinese, as Hamilton didn't know much about China and there were no drawings as such. It was just his interpretation. Its striking look encourages visitors across to the wonders of the grotto, which I'll speak about later. Beautiful little baby chick there. Apparently there was 6 of them, but unfortunately something, probably a fox, has got them in the night over the last few nights, and unfortunately there's only one left. Hopefully it will survive and be added to the flock here on the Serpentine.
As we pass by Woollett Bridge that connects those on the accessible route across to the island, we head out on the longer, more hilly route to the furthest point in the park, the Gothic Tower. There's much more to see though before that. The Mausoleum was once an impressive Roman arch drawing the visitor through the dark yews. This painting by William Hannon shows the arch intact in 1773. Interestingly, Wedgwood used several scenes from Painshill, including this one, to decorate the Imperial Russian dinner service for Catherine the Great.
Well, it was all nice and quiet, and then the swan took exception to the geese. I think they were a bit too close, and so that young swan was trying to push it away and move them off into another area. The Five-Arch Bridge is a real focal point in the park. The original structure was built from lath and plaster to look like stone. Sadly, the passage of time saw it decay and disappear by the 20th century. In 2011, a private donation by the Monuments Trust saw it rebuilt to once again be the key focal point from the Gothic Temple and the Turkish Tent, both of which we have yet to see up close. So entry to Painshill is £10 for an adult, and you can get annual membership as well if you're local and want to come back a number of times during the course of the year. We'll put links into the description for all the information you need to getting here. There is free parking, and generally it's open from 10 till 6 each day.
These are the Cascades, more of a trickle today. The water that feeds the Serpentine Lake comes from the River Mole, which hugs the southern boundary of the park. It has been unseen to our left all the way from the start of the walk. Water is pumped from the river through the Cascades, providing fresh water flow for the lake. But how does it do this? Let's go and find out.
Really is quite a large estate, and 158 acres. You're going to be walking around for quite a bit of time. It's generally flat, but a few little areas where it's up and downhill. But you know, I didn't really know much about Painshill before I came, and there are little surprises around every corner, like this wonderful watermill.
The Waterwheel is first mentioned in 1752 and would have been made of timber. This one, restored in the 1980s, was built by Brummer and Sons in the 1830s from cast iron, a very new material to feature in gardens. Volunteers, known as the gentlemen greasers, maintain it. Of course, ladies and gentlemen are welcome to volunteer. At 10.6 metres in diameter, it's one of the largest working wheels in the UK and is driven by 48 paddles. However, it's only half the size of the largest water wheel in the world at 22 metres in diameter. Old Isabella, as she is called, is still in working order in a town called Laxey on the Isle of Man. If you're interested to see more about the Laxey wheel, watch our Isle of Man travel guide after we finish the walk. We now head up into the Alpine Valley in search of the Hermitage. Hamilton planted a great number of firs and pines here, creating shade and a more dramatic setting. The Hermitage, a thatched wooden hut overlooking the River Mole, has been recreated by the Trust, as the original was cut up for firewood in the 1940s due to dilapidation. Hamilton wanted the Hermitage occupied, so advertised for a hermit to stay for 7 years in exchange for 700 guineas. Mr. Remington was the lucky applicant, but 3 weeks in was caught drinking in a local inn and so breached his contract.
Reaching the tower, you actually reach the furthest point on the estate. It's taken me about an hour and a half to walk this far, and I've only been ambling along, so it's not too strenuous, it's fine. There are toilets here and a cafe, and we'll see if that's open. The Gothic Tower is open from April till October, currently closed at the moment because of COVID. There are 99 steps to climb up, and then you have panoramic views all over the estate and the local area, so it's a bit of a shame can't go in it at the moment.
Constructed of brick in the 1750s but rendered to look like stone, it's 27 metres tall with a spire and weather vane. There is a spiral staircase in the turret to take you to the top for those wonderful views that we're denied today. Apparently on a clear day you can see Canary Wharf and Windsor Castle. A fire all but destroyed the tower in 1973, but the Painshill Park Trust came to the rescue and it was reopened again in 1989 by the Duke of York.
So the toilets are open, but the cafe, I think, must be inside the tower itself as you walk up, and that's closed today, another casualty of COVID. But hopefully as things improve, it'll be opening up soon.
Hamilton was born in Dublin and a keen gardener from his early years. He gained much inspiration from what you see today from 2 grand tours travelling across Europe to Rome on 2 separate occasions. He brought back paintings and sculptures, notably the statue of Bacchus, the god of wine, which he would display in a temple. This is that temple, well, the 2017 version anyway. The original has long gone. It was an appropriate statue for Painshill due to the vineyard and successful winemaking. You can see a copy of Bacchus as you arrive at the Welcome Centre. For some reason they use cardboard cutouts in the temple itself. The views from this high vantage point are impressive and give a feel for what you would see from the Gothic Tower.
If you're liking this video so far, then please take a moment to like and subscribe the video. It really helps us grow the channel, and we'd love to have you along for future videos. You may also like our National Trust videos and also our English Heritage videos on our channel. So go check those out, and thank you for subscribing.
Let's take a quick map check. So we just walked past the Temple of Bacchus on our way to the Turkish Tent. Then we'll head down to the north side of the lake and cover the areas in the centre, including the Gothic Temple and the Grotto. The Turkish Tent was built in 1760 and would have been the last stop on a visit to the garden, allowing guests to sit and look back over what they'd just seen. Originally made from brick canvas with paper mache and wire horsetails, today it's brick with fiberglass to make it more durable. Prince of Wales, patron of the Trust, opened the tent in 1995, and the views from this location are stunning. Having walked the length of the north part of the lake, we climb up on top of the Vineyard for breathtaking views of the North Downs. We approach the Gothic Temple, closed due to COVID, which is very disappointing, as the view from here is the framed living work of art that Hamilton aspired to achieve for his guests. A 10-sided Gothic structure, your eye is drawn to the open window frames. King George III declared he much preferred the view from the temple compared to the Turkish Tent. We will have to be content with the Turkish Tent view again today. As we wander down the hill through the trees, we glimpse the back of the ruined Abbey, the sunlight catching it, creating shadows and shards of light in the afternoon sun. Passing through the yet to properly flower Chinese perennials, we approach the Chinese bridge to cross over to Grotto Island. You get a completely different perspective of the lake and the island from this angle as you are guided towards the grotto. Made of oolitic limestone quarried in Cirencester, it was used all over the island to give a strange, unusual appearance. Hamilton would have seen the grottos on the Italian coast during his grand tours and wanted to create something similar to this at Painshill. The caves themselves are closed due to COVID and really are a wonder to be seen. In the 18th century, Princess Dashkova, closest friend of Catherine the Great, said, "Went through a gap we discovered in the rocks and were amazed to find a spacious cave decorated top to bottom in different crystals, like icicles stuck to the walls and ceiling." Hamilton didn't have long to enjoy the fruits of his labour, as in 1772 his wife Agnes died, and pressed to repay loans, Painshill was sold and Hamilton retired to Bath, leasing a home in the Royal Crescent, bringing a close to his time at this incredible location in Surrey.
Well, what a really lovely afternoon. Painshill has really surprised me. It's huge, it's absolutely beautiful, and on a sunny day like this, it's been a real delight to walk around. Hope you've enjoyed this video with us. Please remember to like and subscribe and join us for other videos in the future. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.